Hi, my name's Nick. Welcome to my channel. Charlie's Angels is the latest reboot we're getting in 2019, and this has not been a kind year to reboots. So this one's basically doomed right off the bat, right? Charlie's Angels started as a TV series in the 1970s and then became a film franchise in the early 2000s. And that fizzled out pretty quickly, even though I have to say it's probably my favorite action comedy. Not a guilty pleasure, just a pleasure. I love that movie, it's so much fun. But I had to ask myself, with this new reboot coming out, I'm like, who is this for? Is this for the audience that watched the original show? People that grew up like me with the 2000s films? Who is the demographic here? And I'm really surprised that I have to say, I think that demographic is me. I'm going to spoil my review right off the bat here. I have to admit, I kind of like this movie, and I might argue that it's a little bit good. Maybe it's because I went in expecting Men in Black International with 3 chicks, but I think this movie is a good time. Now again, 2019 has been filled with all kinds of reboots that I feel have just been the same recycled garbage. Now, I'm not opposed to a reboot. I think if you can do it right, then you absolutely should. But if it's not broken, don't fix it. Charlie's Angels 2019 manages to be that one exception to the rule that takes an existing IP and does pretty much what you'd expect to do with it. The same fun thing. We've got 3 awesome, strong women doing spy stuff and making jokes. That's all you need to make Charlie's Angels work. And the right jokes with the right women are put into this film that makes this work. And it's kind of a shame because I feel like we're already so burnt out on the bad reboots and sequels and remakes this year that everyone's already written this off and no one is going to give it a chance. Like I said, I love that first film from 2000. I don't care how cheesy and silly it is. I love that movie. It is my comfort food. And I was hoping that this movie would be something that emulates those qualities in a fun and new way and manages to be a great next installment in the Charlie's Angels legacy. And when I first saw the trailers for this movie, I was like, now that actually looks like something that came out in 2002. What is this? And the movie does get a little too 2019. I will get that out of the way quickly because I think we could all tell from the marketing and the quotes about this film that it was going to be a little in your face with its messaging. I mean, it opens, the very first shot is Kristen Stewart looking into the camera saying, I think women can do anything. And as someone who already believes that and knows that to be true, I'm like, we're already here, we're already in the movie, just do this stuff. And the movie does pause a little bit to be like, hey, did you know about this fact that you should be aware of? That's not exactly great storytelling, but I don't think it really pulls away from the overall experience of the film. And I would have to say that the audience I was with reacted to that kind of stuff quite positively, actually. And I have to say, I was surprised because this movie is so female focused, yet the audience I was with last night was, I was gonna say more male than female, but it was probably a 50-50 split. But a lot of people were laughing and having a good time, so maybe this movie is not the clunker that you think it is. Naomi Scott was introduced to a lot of audiences this year in Aladdin, but I think here where she doesn't have to worry about recreating an iconic character, she's allowed to just be a little bit more her, and I think she has incredible screen presence. She has great charisma. I just felt like, oh, I can just like watch her. She could easily make like a zillion romantic comedies. I think she's really funny and cute, and while she stumbles through some scenes, her character isn't annoying. We don't feel like, why are we wasting our time on this new girl? She's really good in this role, and I'm looking forward to seeing her in whatever she does next. Balinska, I haven't seen before in anything, and I thought she did a really good job in this role. She was like a force as this crazy ninja chick, and I thought she did a great job. She was so good at being the action star. She could have a franchise centered around her alone. And Kristen Stewart, man, okay, listen, I've been a fan of her since Panic Room, okay? Here she plays the role that I feel like she's always shied away from. She's always kind of been like quiet and tough and whatnot, but here she plays this funny, energetic, kind of silly woman. Like I said, I always like her, but I expected to be like, yeah, Kristen Stewart, she's in it. She kind of owns the movie. You also have Elizabeth Banks playing Bosley, and she is so right in her wheelhouse in this role, and I do not dock points for her taking a fun role in her own film. She really does everything here. She produces, she wrote the screenplay, she directed it, she's starring in a supporting role. I like the espionage aspects. I always love in movies when you have characters doing missions and stuff, and I like those scenes in this film. However, I do think some of the sequences go on a little too long. This could have been tighter. This is a very full 2-hour movie. It feels like it should maybe be an hour 45 max. I feel like we spend a long time in this film, yet at the same time, our characters don't really rise from 2-dimensional to 3-dimensional until the end of the film, so that's a little disappointing because by the end you're really ready for the next movie. You got me there, Banks. But honestly, I can't lie, I do think the overall direction here is kind of weak. And I don't think it would be easy to just take on this big budget franchise film. I'm sure I wouldn't do the best job, but I do think this film could have had a stronger overall tone and feel to it. I do like the way that the action and the comedy is blended. Sometimes that can be a little off to me. Here I think the actresses do a great job of pulling off their jokes in the middle of action sequences, and that really kept me entertained throughout. But speaking of the action, I have to say I thought the action in this film was really good. Some of it does go on a little bit longer than it needs to, and they really aren't like huge action sequences, but I like the way that they're executed. You can see most of the hits land and most of the moves made by the characters. I like the way it was filmed. I thought they pulled it off really well. I think that there is a lot of potential here, and I don't think it should be wasted just because other movies have burned us out this year. Man, it's a bummer, right? It's a bummer. I'm like, this movie is gonna bomb. Like, no one is gonna see this. Like, who cares about Charlie's Angels? You probably only clicked on this to hear me hate on it, 'cause that's probably what you were expecting. Are you planning on seeing Charlie's Angels? Let me know, because I don't really think anyone is, and it's a bummer because I don't think that you should sleep on this one just because we've been burnt out by other movies that look like this from this year, because this one has what most of them don't, and that's the chemistry and the heart that makes the plot and the character dynamics work. Charlie's Angels has that. At least it has it for me. It wasn't the best of the year, but it was fun, and I had a great time, and I think you would too. I'm going to give Charlie's Angels a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed myself. I think it's fun. I kind of want to see it again. I would take a friend to see this. What did you think of Charlie's Angels? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what movies you're looking forward to seeing in the coming months. And subscribe to this channel. Like this video, share it with your friends, do all that good stuff. And I'll see you in my next video.